Good evening and welcome to the Denver City Council Debates, a joint production of Colorado Public Television and AARP. I'm your host, Dominic Duzzitti. Thank you very much for joining us. Tonight, we'll talk with the candidates in the race for the City Council, in Denver's District 11. That is a district right now that's kind of led by Chris Herndon, but has been redrawn. So it covers the expanding neighborhoods of Northeast Park Hill and Stapleton, Montbello, Green Valley Ranch, as well as Denver International Airport. Joining us for the next 30 minutes are Sean Bradley, Shelley Brown, Tim Camarillo, Stacy Gilmore, and T. Shuck. Everyone, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Our time is limited, so let's get right to it. I'd like to ask each of you to take 1 minute to answer this question. An affordable public transportation system is vital to a livable city and to the many Denver residents who depend on it. What policies would you pursue in the City Council to promote a more affordable and accessible transportation system for all city residents? Sean, we're going to start with you.
Well, thanks for the question, Tim, and thanks for again the invite. Without a doubt, with the new commuter rail that's coming through our community over the next few months. We're going to do our first testing here real soon, and we're going to go live next month. The reality is we have to make sure that it's affordable. I think that the reality is we have a lot of seniors who have limited transportation systems through our communities. I think we should be providing discount services to our seniors who are actually going to want to travel from DIA to downtown throughout the metro area as well. But I'm looking forward to looking at every option on the table so that we can ensure that families who want to provide as much access to the city, get from the airport downtown to Lakewood, Arvada, wherever they want to go, that it's actually affordable for them. So every option is going to be on the table when I'm elected council.
Shelley, let me ask you the same question regarding public transportation.
Well, I think I am looking forward to partnering with RTD to really assess what is affordable across the board, not just for the seniors, but for also those young people that are trying to get to and from school, trying to get to their first jobs. I was on the RTD website, in fact, just last night, and I was looking at the discounted fares that seniors have. I didn't know of the option of, I think it's called the senior ride or senior shopping ride or something like that, that will actually, and I believe it's a free service, that will pick seniors up at different hot spots and take them where they need to go. And my guess is, I don't know how extensively it's being used right now, especially in our neighborhood, given the fact that we don't have a lot of senior centers. But I think expanding something like that so that it's not just you're going to go to the grocery store and you need 10 people to do so, but it's, if you can call the day before, you've got a doctor's appointment, you've got some other place that you need to get to, making it more accessible, because really at that age, they've lived, they have earned the right to not have to worry about things like transportation and affording it.
Sure. Tim, your answer.
Yes, I was just reading the AARP report, and we have to have a culture change because most seniors, 89% of them still drive. And so 26% use public transportation. The main question was if it's accessible, they will use it. So we're pretty lucky because in Northeast Denver, we do have the East Line coming in. And as soon as that comes in, we need to have mobility loops that connect our neighborhoods to that TOD site. Also, I believe we should have citizen advisory boards on the RTD where we can have input daily or weekly on what's affecting our communities. I'm also for subsidizing bus passes, monthly bus passes for seniors, so they will use it. And that's what I believe in. Thank you.
Stacy, we're on the same question regarding public transportation.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would like to hear from our seniors and from our families in our area across the city, because we really want people to use that commuter rail line, and we also want them to continue using the other transit options around buses that way. And so really talking and hearing from our seniors and our families and knowing what they would like to see. I know that I've heard from a lot of folks that wheelchair accessibility, walkers, carts that people might use if they have a walking impairment, and strollers are something that are concerns with public transit, and they're not as easy and accessible, I think, for people to get on and off. And so I would love to address that. But also the new District 8, we're going to have to look at really the accessibility from the Montbello community to the Smith Road station, and underneath I-70 we're going to have to address that, because that last mile to get from the neighborhood to the TOD station is always the hardest. And I would like to really look at ways that we can create public-private partnerships to make sure that we're addressing that so that it is accessible to everyone, and especially the fees. District 11 residents would love to really have a tiered fee structure that can make sure that it's accessible and equitable.
T, go ahead and wrap it up for us.
Oh, gosh, what they all said. It's great being last. It's a good thing. Really, I think that on City Council, okay, first off, RTD is its own separate entity. So yes, we have to work closely with the RTD board and the representative for our area in District 11. I'd like to see bus routes and going later at night into our neighborhoods. That's been a criticism I've heard several times over the years. I'd like to see us look at some version of subsidizing whatever fares there are. I really like that, the whole notion of a senior fare that's a little less expensive, particularly for those who are on fixed incomes, like we tend to be. Ways to access the transportation that gives us really a leg up. You know, so yes to all of this.
Okay.
But I just think that it really is a no-brainer when it comes down to it.
Sure. Well, let's go for this next question. Denver is currently experiencing a shortage of affordable housing. If elected, what would you do to protect and increase the supply of affordable housing, specifically in light of the prospect of increased gentrification of some neighborhoods and along newly opened light rail lines? And T, let's reverse gears, so let's start with you.
Oh, rats. Well, in our district in particular, you must work with the developers. We have at least one major developer. Actually, we have two major developers that operate inside the district now. And you work with them, and let's see how we can build something that takes into account all the various levels of people who live here, the socioeconomic levels, people who work at the airport need a place to live that they can afford to work in, people who live where we live now, want to make sure that taxes don't increase beyond what they can afford in a home they've already paid for. So really, it's developing a strong relationship with the developer, and making sure that the needs of the people who are here now and the people coming in are met.
Stacey, as we look towards affordable housing, what's your take?
Sure. Yesterday I was walking actually in the neighborhood, and it was in Green Valley Ranch, and I was talking with a gentleman about affordable housing, because he was talking about that, he's in the construction industry, and more than half of his paycheck goes towards his mortgage. And so he's very concerned to be able to keep his home if there is some sort of change in the demographics of the community, and so what that might look like and what it would mean for him and his family, because that is their place of residence. And so I think that we're hearing that all throughout the district. I came home the other night and was sitting in my kitchen in my home in Montbello and was talking to some friends, and I said, well, I wonder what an affordable house looks like. And somebody said, well, you're sitting in one. Sure. And so I think in Montbello specifically, but also Green Valley Ranch, we do have affordable homes that, as the district council person, I would like to let the rest of the city know, and especially folks who are coming to our city, know that Montbello and Green Valley Ranch and Parkfield and High Point are amazing, wonderful neighborhoods that do have affordable homes, but definitely working with the developers and knowing what's coming along down the pipeline. I've heard from other folks that they would like to see a few more higher end homes in our neighborhood to really have a true diversity of housing. It keeps us healthy.
Tim, as we were looking at affordable housing, what's your take on the question?
We have to make better use of the tools that we already have. The inclusionary housing ordinance, I don't think it's strong enough. In California, the requirement was 20% that had to be built affordable, and the buyout was 100% of what you would have built. Also, the tools in planning and zoning. we have a great opportunity to have real TOD development in our area because we have the land and space. And there's one area that we overlooked was Green Valley Ranch and Pena Boulevard, that instead of building more luxury affordable more luxury homes, we could have built more density, more condos, more apartments. And because of that development, we probably could get a high school there because you'll have the density and you'll have the people there. Another thing that people may not know is the state property tax exemption for seniors if you are over 65, which reduces your property tax, which is very important for our communities. Development, again, there's a development called Parkway Villas, which is all senior housing that has services and linkages to health services, that has linkages to shopping. We have to better look at preserving what we have. The whole notion of Green Valley Ranch in Montebello was for minorities to move out there, have a middle-class lifestyle, have home ownership, have opportunities for small businesses. And that's what I believe in. Thank you.
Shelley?
You know, I was walking yesterday in Montebello, and I heard a very similar story from folks who have been living in their home for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And this woman said, she was, I think, 71 or 72, and she said, you know, pretty soon, you know, in the next couple of years, I plan to sell my house and downsize because I'm at that age when I don't want all this space. And so, you know, to the folks like that who want to remain in the neighborhood, I think it's important that we provide a place for them to be. You know, we have a couple of senior living places between Green Valley and Montebello, but I think making sure that we have enough for those folks that don't just want to move away and go to maybe where their adult children are, but want to stay in this place where they have roots. So that has to be a piece of it. And I say that because we're talking about seniors in this conversation. So making sure that they're taken care of in these years when they want to just be able to relax and live and have a good quality of life. Additionally, you know, there's the development that will take place up Pena at the commuter rail stop, Pena and 61st. And I had a conversation with the developer a couple of months ago about just making sure that, you know, what is built, whether it's the homes, and they're not going to be single family, but the homes, the more condos type things, and the retail really are inclusive of the all the residents across our neighborhood, because I think we have probably the most culturally and socioeconomically diverse area in the city of Denver, and we want everyone to be able to access those. The folks that, you know, have a modest income, and those that have, you know, much more, so that we can all have the same good, positive quality of life.
And Sean, wrap it up for us.
I think what he said earlier, that everything that everyone has said, it makes an awful lot of sense. And I agree with everything that everyone just said. And in addition to that, I mean, we have a substantial amount of individuals who live in our communities who are renters. And so there are, I mean, almost half of the people who live in our community rent homes. And so those folks may be priced out of the community because now buyers or owners are saying, you know, we're going to sell our property. But to get to all of that, though, I think the biggest crux of this is just the affordability period, is that we have to raise the minimum wage in this state. I mean, it is a serious conversation that we have to have. And I think one person already mentioned, maybe Stacy, and it's a true point, it's a very valid point, that substantial amount of people who are living in our community, half of their rent, half of their mortgages, their payments and their bills are going toward their mortgages. And so we've got to be able to make sure that people can afford to live in our city. And I think what everyone has just said, it makes absolutely a amount of sense.
Well, we want to thank the Denver Commission on Aging for this next question. What do you believe is the greatest barrier to older adults being able to age with dignity in their community? In our tradition of mixing things up, Tim, we're going to start with you.
Okay. We're very lucky because we have 3 initiatives already going on in Denver that are addressing senior needs. As a senior, we're concerned about independent living, assisted living, and dealing with Alzheimer's, memory care. In the state house, there's 2 bills that are going that are going through. One is to form a strategic planning group that will look at aging issues. The second is to have more appropriations for senior services, and we have to look at federal law, the Older Americans Act. We have to look at funding sources from Denver Regional Council of Governments. This is a regional problem, and better quality of life is a major issue because we're all going to get old. We're all going to age. And to have services in place for us, I feel much better and happier about it. And for even my own girlfriend to make sure that she has those services. So we have to look at partnerships, collaborations, make use of tools that we already have, and to really look at what is quality of life. Is it enjoying parks and recreation? Is it enjoying a night on the town in Lodo? Or hopefully something better that's nearby near us? Is it the quality of food? Is it the quality of the time we spend with our families? So that's what we have to look at.
Great. Stacy, again looking at aging with dignity in Denver.
Sure, sure. You know, this touches really close to home. My grandmother is 95 years old, and she actually lives with my parents. And so I see this firsthand when I go back to visit my parents. I was there over Easter, and, you know, really having that caring home for someone, it makes them healthier, it makes them happier. I mean, she gets to see her great-grandchildren that way. And so, I mean, I think aging with dignity means that if folks want to stay in their home, they can. If they can't, then what are those other options and services that as a city we could maybe provide to make sure that we have a partnership with their family, with their older adult children, with other relatives, where folks might be able to be placed in a family home. And then there are training services around proper administration of medications, how to gauge oxygen use, you know, healthy eating, and all of those different pieces that as someone ages is so important to make sure that they stay healthy. The other piece of it is that I think there's a wonderful opportunity in District 11. We have a lot of young people who are out of work or who would like to have maybe relevant real-world experience working. What better experience to maybe partner or have a program where young people are able to be, you know, afternoon companions to an elderly person and share stories and experiences, but then that young person would also maybe be responsible for getting their medication, for going and buying food, and just making sure that things are safe in that person's home to really engage both our elderly folks, but then also our young folks.
T, looking at aging with dignity in Denver.
Well, the first thing is affordable health care. You know, you have to be able to get to your medical providers. You have to be able to pick up your prescriptions. These are things I've just gone through with both of my parents recently. And the ability, with dignity, actually the ability to get around, to move where you need to move. And what I mean by that really is to get to the things you want to go to without too much fuss and hassle, and to have things close at hand. But there's also an element of that that's like I'll call it visiting nurse, but that's not quite what I mean. But it's having people who come to your home, who check on you. They know you, you know them, and you're getting that first the touch if you're a person living alone, so you don't get too isolated. But you're also having that somebody who's trained to watch and make sure that there's no changes happening. So that would be it. I mean, the ability to determine my life and what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis and to have control of those things. That's dignity.
Sean, same question.
Safe neighborhood to make sure that that you are living your time and enjoying your time and enjoying your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and experiencing living in a safe community. It's my grandmother passed away with breast cancer, and it was a tough scenario to watch, but at least she was in a space to where she had family and friends. We had organizations and partnerships with nonprofits, as well as young folks who were able to go and make those visits for her when she was unable to do so. But having a community to where they're safe, even if they want to be alone or if they want to have family and friends around. But I think there's so many opportunities with nonprofits and church organizations who want to provide these services. And I think we should, as a city, think outside the box on how we can really provide financial assistance to nonprofits or church organizations, if we can, to look at partnering with them to make sure that those waning moments are very comfortable moments for those families.
And Shelley, finish up for us.
Certainly. I think, decreased freedom and really making sure that our seniors feel like they still have value. I saw that with my own grandmother who passed away at 92. My own mother she wouldn't want me saying this, but she's in her 70s. But I think it's ensuring, especially when you have someone who has lived a full life, when they have contributed in so many different ways, and they're faced with this idea that they can't be as independent as they once were, because things change. But I think also, making sure that they still feel like they have value and they can contribute. That stimulates the mind, it stimulates the body. In Green Valley Ranch, we have this group called the 50 Plus Club, and they think they meet once a month at the golf course. And so that's just one threshold. We can go higher than that. We can have, those who have arrived at 65, those who have arrived at 70, and whatever other ages are appropriate. But I think providing activities, regular activities that speak to what their interests are, to help them, learn from other people, because we still want to keep their minds stimulated and keep them active in the things that they enjoy doing, as well as exposed to new and different things, and keeping them engaged in our community.
Well, it's almost time for closing statements. We're just going to ask a quick, almost a yes or no question, a very short answer question, just as we look at the general issues impacting Denver. If elected to City Council, do you feel Denver should revisit the sales tax charged on recreational marijuana? Sean, we'll start with you.
Yes.
Okay. Shelley?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Tim, all right.
Yes.
Sure.
It's an easy unanimous vote. Okay, we have time for a couple more. That's not a lightning round. That was a lightning round. Do you support the current CDOT proposal that would expand I-70 the northern part of Denver, and it would bury it below grade and put a park that would connect, well, at least in one person's opinion, the Swansea and Elyria neighborhoods? Again, a short answer. Dee, we'll start with you.
That actually is a question that requires more than a yes or no. I'm interested in it. I have a lot of questions about it and a lot of reservations.
Okay. Stacy.
I've been studying it extensively and learning more about it, and at this point in time, yes.
Tim?
I would say no, because I'm for the alternative, the reroute of the 270. Make that area a parkway that connects Brighton Boulevard, and you create more opportunities for economic development, and you can use Vasquez Boulevard for commercial use.
Shelley.
I would say yes and no. Yes, because I know it's an area that is significantly congested and prone to accidents. I got in an accident myself when I was very much pregnant with my son and had to deliver him on that day years ago. And I would say no, because I think we really need to look at how it's impacting the people that live in the neighborhood and really do much more due diligence around that.
And Sean.
A lot of work still needs to be done, and I have done a lot of research, met with a number of people on this. I just think it's not really a yes or no answer at this point. It's just so much information that still needs to be gathered. But if I were to answer it right now, I think yes is the appropriate place right now.
Well, it is now time for our closing statements. So we drew numbers out of a hat before the taping began. Stacy, you drew number 1, so you begin.
Sure. Well, I'm Stacy Gilmore, and I would be honored to have your vote to represent your voice on City Council for District 11. I've lived and worked in the far Northeast for the last 20 years, and I also love our community. Our work ethic, commitment to strong communities is something that I very much value, and I know that you do too. I'm Stacy Gilmore, number 2 on the ballot, but first, when it comes to experience, commitment, and the resolute belief in making sure we get what we deserve in District 11. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your vote. And remember, it's your voice, our community.
Thank you, Stacy. Sean, you're up next.
Thanks, Tommy, and thank you guys for having a chance to watch and to learn more about us during this process. I'm Sean Bradley. I've lived in the community now for a little over 4 years. And there's a lot of talk about how long someone has been in our community. But at the end of the day, it's about who can actually get things done in our neighborhood, who can provide the real services, and who's really committed to service and providing you with the best voice on City Council that you deserve. We need a new vision in our community, and I offer that to you. I ask for your support on May 5th. Ballot's going to be dropping in the mail next week. And please check our name on the ballot. Again, I'm Sean Bradley, and I look forward to your support and your help. Let's go do this together. We can't do anything in this district, anything in this city without you. I look forward to your partnerships. I look forward to your service, and I look forward to serving you on council.
Thank you, Sean. T, you're up next.
I'm T. Shook, and I'm running for Denver City Council, District 11. I've worked for the city for the last 17 years. I've lived in the district just as long. I've been a community activist all of my life. I've done things that have made Denver a better city. I'd like to continue doing them as a city council person to make this district the best possible place to live and work it can be. Please vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, T. Tim, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Tim Camarillo. And I want you to vote for me because I bring in vision, I bring in experience, and I invite you to look at my website, timcamarillo@democracy.com. Look at my plans because I have 5 public-private partnerships I want to bring to the community. Look at my outlook on small business and entrepreneurship because I believe in planting the seeds and building up instead of trickle down from DIA. I've been a Head Start teacher. I've worked in nonprofits. I'm a veteran in the United States Army Reserve. I've been in AmeriCorps. And like I said, look at my website and you'll get a better understanding of me. And vote for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Shelley, your final closing statement.
Thank you, Dominic. My name is Shelley Brown, and I am running to represent District 11 in the Denver City Council. I am running because I want to build the quality of life in our community, bring more opportunity to our neighborhoods, and ensure that District 11 is a safe place to live and thrive. As a resident of Green Valley Ranch and someone who actually works in Montbello, I have a stake in seeing our neighborhoods represented well. I think it is the job of City Council to ensure the quality of life for all of our residents, from 5 up to 75 and all places in between and beyond. Thank you.
Well, that is all the time we have for our look at the Denver City Council race in District 11. I'd like to thank all of our candidates for joining us: Sean Bradley, Shelley Brown, Tim Camarillo, Stacy Gilmore, and T. Shook. This concludes our debate series for the candidates running for Denver City Council. If you missed any of the debates, you can find them at cpt12.org or on our YouTube page. For everyone here at Colorado Public Television and AARP, I'm Dominic Dezzutti. Thank you very much for watching.